Hey Bowtie Nation, Joseph Hogue here with the Let's Talk Money channel and a fun video coming at you today. Now, conspiracy theories range from the absurd and wild to some that make sense, but there are more than a few that are actually true. I saw some of these firsthand working as an analyst in venture capital and later for wealthy investors, and being on the outside of these could cost you a lot of money. Now, I'm not talking about the newest memes or just some of the weird shit you read online, but the real ways the market is rigged and how the cards are stacked against you. Because nation, understanding how the market really works is how the 1% protect their wealth while keeping Main Street investors at a disadvantage. And knowledge is power, so with that, here are the top 3 stock market conspiracy theories that are actually true. Before we get started though, I want to send a special shout out to all you out there in the nation. Thank you for spending a part of your day to be here. If you're not part of that community yet, just click that little red subscribe button. It's free and you'll never miss an episode. Our first market conspiracy theory is that big money traders are manipulating the stock market. The conspiracy here is that big money traders are able to push prices in the direction they want just by the sheer size of their purchases and by fake orders to buy or sell. And to understand how this works, let's look at the order book for shares of Apple on the Webull app. Now, the order book is all the current buy and sell orders for a stock, so all the prices investors are trying to buy and sell that stock for at that moment. For example, you see that Apple is trading for $136.36 per share, and we have someone offering to buy 7,700 shares. That's the bid price on the left at that price. But we also have all these other investors in the market with orders to buy or sell at different prices. We have someone with a limit order to buy 1,166 shares at $116.32, and another investor with an order to sell at 3,984 shares at an ask price of $116.45 per share. And we don't see it right now in shares of Apple, but sometimes you'll see really weird orders like hundreds of thousands of shares for a stock just below or above the current market price. So using this example, if we saw an order to sell 50,000 shares at $116.40, which is just above the current price. Now, traders do this to create a false illusion of supply and demand for that stock to influence that price. Now, think about it. If traders look and see that there is someone that's going to be selling a huge block of shares at that price, here $116.40 per share, that could swamp the market with supply. Now, that might convince the market that there's going to be a ceiling on how high the stock can go because it's going to hit that price and this huge wave of shares is going to be sold. Just this perception of the shares can cause a stampede of sellers just to get out of the shares and drive the price lower. So maybe this is a short seller that wants to scare the market and drive share prices of Apple lower, or maybe they just want to see the stock lower to buy more shares cheaply. The problem is, and this should totally be illegal because this is stock market manipulation, but this isn't a real order for those 50,000 shares. What happens is if the price gets close to that order, the trader just cancels it. The trader has either drove those share prices lower with the fear of that big wave of supply, or they just cancel the order and never have to make good on it. Knowing this, what you can do is if you notice shares of stock are moving higher or lower, take a look at the order book and ask yourself if that move is for real or just market manipulation by some traders. We've still got 2 more crazy but true conspiracy theories, but I want to personally invite you to our private Facebook group, Let's Talk Money Together. I love the group as a way to have that back and forth conversation. It's something we just can't do here on YouTube. So look for the link in the video description below, or just go to Facebook and look for that group, Let's Talk Money Together. Our second true market conspiracy, how the banks control the Federal Reserve. Now this one goes all the way back to 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created, and understand the nation's central bank is supposed to be totally independent. The Fed and its committee sets the target interest rate at which commercial banks borrow and lend money, which helps determine all the other interest rates in the economy. The idea is that the Fed does this to fulfill its mandate of full employment and low inflation, not to make some bankers happy through interest rates. To do this, the Fed has to be independent, but supposed to be and reality are usually about as likely as a unicorn pooping ice cream. The fact is, the banks own stock in the regional Federal Reserve banks and get a portion of their profits from that stock. Those profits last year amounted to $1.6 billion from the Fed paid out to the banks. Again, the Fed is supposed to make its decisions based on unemployment and inflation, not on the whim of some bankers and where they want interest rates to go. But another fact gives the banks more control over our nation's monetary policy. The banks nominate 6 of the 9 members of the regional bank board of directors, which then nominates the bank presidents that serve on the Federal Reserve's market committee that controls all this. So yeah, that conspiracy theory isn't so much a theory, but the truth. And the tragedy here is that there's not much you can do about this one, but it goes to prove if you want to know why something is happening, just follow the money. This next crazy but true market conspiracy theory is that the government is hiding sky-high unemployment. This one was made popular back in 2009 when Rush Limbaugh accused the Obama administration of skewing the unemployment numbers in November. And there are actually a few ways it happens. First is that the Bureau of Labor, the federal bureau that puts out those unemployment numbers, uses a seasonal adjustment number when it reports each month. According to the BLS, this is because over the course of the year, the size of the labor force and unemployment bounces around a lot due to those seasonal changes like weather, harvests, major holidays, and the school year. Because these seasonal events happen more or less regularly every year, the government tries to change the trend by adjusting the numbers from month to month. The problem is this seasonal factor can change from year to year. Other factors can come into play, and that long-term trend just changes. For example, this year it was found that the unemployment picture was off by as much as 130,000 people because the government was adjusting the number by a certain way. And besides the massaging of these numbers to paint a different picture of unemployment, the government reports 7 different measures of joblessness. Of course, only one of these, that U3 number, one of the lowest, is what you hear each month for that unemployment rate. The official unemployment rate is based on the percentage of the labor force that has no job and is looking for work, called that U3 measure here. But what about the people that haven't been able to find work for so long that they're not even looking anymore? What about the people that were forced to take a part-time job because they can't find that full-time gig? These are measured with the U5 and the U6 numbers and show a completely different picture. For example, the government recently reported the official unemployment rate at 8.4%, which is pretty bad, but not even close to the 14.5% that includes all these unemployed and marginally employed. So you have to take what you hear about unemployment with a huge bucket of salt. Understand how these numbers can be manipulated and make your own decisions about the economy. Click on the video to the right for 12 dividend stocks that will put cash in your pocket every single week. 12 stocks for weekly cash flow. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.